As you may have seen in other posts, I'm working on a Proffieboard Style Generator. I took my Localized Lockup Generator from last week and I kind of took the challenge to try to expand it, and I've actually added quite a bit to it. So I wanted to kind of demo where I'm at. Right now, I'd say it's about 75–80% done. I still have a good amount of debugging to do. There's still some other things I want to add to it. But it's at a good place for other people to play around with and give me some feedback. Let me know if you run into any problems. I am kind of a self-taught programmer in this sense, so this is something I kind of just did to challenge myself, but I'm not a programmer by trade. Any programmers out there, if you look at the code and you notice it's a little clunky, just keep in mind I'm kind of self-taught, so if you don't look under the hood, I think it looks pretty good. If you look under the hood, I'm sure there's a lot of things I probably could have improved on. But it's working well enough to the point that I'd like to get some guys and girls in there playing around with it and beating up on it. So essentially, we'll start off. It is very similar to the Localized Lockup Generator. The difference being now, instead of pasting in your main style, it's actually going to let you build it. And I added a lot of other functionality with that. So we'll start off with build a style. From here, you can choose either a color or an effect. Since it's a main blade, I'll choose an effect. And then you're going to choose the effect you want to add. So this piggybacks style editor. So it's going to have all the styles that style editor is running. As that gets updated, I'll add any new styles that get in there. The one that's missing from this list right now is gradient. I am working on it. Gradient, because of how it would work with localized lockup, I actually need to kind of take it a little different way. So that is in the works. But everything else right now that's in style editor is here with except for that. So I'll start off just real simple with an audio flicker. And then from here you can choose the colors and then any other settings. So for choose color, we do have all the preset colors in here, but there's also an RGB chooser, which just uses these slides. So if I wanted to mess around and get an RGB, it does only use the 255 since that's what works on Proffieboard. But you can choose your RGB color. You're going to just you can view it throughout this process. You'll see the view or check and style editor buttons. Since this needs style editor or uses style editor kind of as a guideline, clicking on that will just take you into style editor, but it won't lose your place. And I also like that I also did it on purpose so that if you keep building on styles and playing with it, the ones that you have here, you can keep these saved. So you just keep it as a separate window if I ever want to come back to it. But then you're just going to save your color. And then we'll change this color out. I'll just use one of the preset oranges. And then now at this level, I can also check it in style editor again, make sure I'm happy with it. Okay, and then I can save the effect. And then this kind of gives you a last chance. This is a linear tool, so it will let you continue to build in a linear fashion. But if you change your mind after you've applied it, you're going to have to start over. And that's really mostly just because of the nesting that I've got set up, which I'll show you. So I'm going to apply this effect, and you'll see here it built it out for me. Now anywhere where there's a color, just like in regular styling, I can either change this color out or I can add another effect. So this is what the nesting means. So if I want to change this out, I can add an effect here. And now maybe we'll add a brown noise flicker. I'll go with a red. And we'll leave magenta, and you can change out your grade. And we'll just peek at what that's going to look like. Now that is just that portion of the effect. And then I can save that effect. And now when I go to apply it, it will add it into the next level. So now you can see in place of that second color, now I have a brown noise flicker. And I can view that in style editor. You can kind of see what it looks like. And I'm just making the style up as I go, so it may not be the prettiest when I'm all done. But the way I've set this up is you can nest 3 levels essentially, but it actually, because of the number of variables, it actually grows exponentially. But for here, I'll just change one more out. I'll add one more effect, and we'll add a blank, and I'll leave it as is, and then save and apply. So now I've got technically 3 levels of nesting in place. eventually I can expand on that, but actually just 3 levels, I think it worked out to like 500 and something potential combinations. Um, so it got really big really quick. So for now, especially until I get this completely fully figured out, it's basically 3 levels of nesting that it can handle. But if I'm all happy with it after viewing it in Style Editor yet again, um, I can do save and apply style, and this will now bring it back to the main generator. So now you can see here I've got my main blade. This is also my full style. Now right now this is only for the main blade. So now I can add other effects. These effects apply instantly. So I'll add an in-out helper. You'll see it'll add it in. You can change your settings on that effect and it'll update. We'll add a blast, use original blast. I'll leave it as white. I'll add a localized clash. And then I will add a localized lockup because that's where this tool started. And I'm leaving everything as generated just for now. But you can see here now it's actually built the entire style for me, and I can view it in Style Editor. Now there's an in-out helper, so I got to hit power. But now I've got my style, I've got my white clash, I've got my white original blast, and then I've got my localized lockup. And I also have drag, which was also in there. And then from here, you can either use the Style Editor copy and put this in your put it in your config file, or I also have a copy button here, which basically copies the exact same code. But that is the style generator. So feel free to play around with it. If you do find anything needs fixing or anything acting up, please let me know. I'm going to continue to beat up on it myself, but more eyes kind of just helps maybe narrow down what needs to be worked on. So hope you enjoy. Thanks.